the defense of this country and the things that obviously that government had engaged itself seems like, this is an uneducated guess, seems like a similar situation in Korea because, they want to make sure it's just like insurance policy that the government by developing some technology, then they actually, it's just like buying insurance policy. In other words, this becomes something that will protect them. The same thing in Korea, and this is probably similar mentality in Iran that if they have a nuke, they develop a nuclear technology, then nobody's going to touch them. Probably this is the feeling. I may be totally wrong because, as I said, I've totally lost interest in all of that. I don't know what is true, what is not true, but that's my uneducated guess.
But let me also say that internet really is the mean of communication between people. Like those number of very big demonstrations that was in Iran, especially 2009, I think it was all orchestrated by internet, people communicating with each other, where to get together at that kind of thing. So internet is a big deal. In fact, I received an email today that there has been a number of floods in Iran, big floods lately. And one of these mullahs from Mashhad is where the Imam number 8 is buried and is a site of pilgrimage, because he was poisoned by the Sunnis and he died in Iran and is in Mashhad. So he said that if people, rather than going to Shiraz as a pilgrimage to the grave of Cyrus, if they were coming to Mashhad, there would not be this kind of floods then in the country. He blamed the people that they were going to go and see Cyrus the Great, who was not a Muslim, He blamed him for the flood. Yeah.
I just had a thought, how you spoke about the treatment of women, but yet at the same time, I hear they have educational opportunities, the women.
Iranian women have done fantastic.
Yeah, you mentioned they were lawyers.
The universities, the majority of the universities are the women. Also, this is typical of Iranian people psychologically. They are pretty oppositional, Like, for example, they try to inhibit women. Somehow, it's kind of like the women are more advanced. Like I was telling you about the game of football, Like, I read an article here about the best movie directors, cinema directors. Number 9 gave to United States with 9 top directors. Number 2 gave to Iran with 4 top directors. Because these mullahs, they don't allow like certain movies to be made, sexual movies and things. So these guys, they have gone through different things, different direction. And in fact, speaking of that soccer, that Jafar Panahi, who was in jail, Iranian director who was in jail several years and is not allowed to make movie again, he made a movie about a soccer game. That the women are not supposed to attend, speaking of discrimination, women are not allowed to go to soccer games. So a good number of women, they got together and they dressed like men and they went to the soccer game.
And they got arrested.
So when they were there, they were discovered. But then, and they restricted them. But then they had to go to bathroom. And also these Islamic cultures, they are very paternalistic too, at the same time. So what to do? There was no bathroom for them. So they closed the bathroom to the men. No men bathroom, all for women. And then it was so funny, there was a revolution by men, they're all holding to genitalia, that you want to go to bathroom, what we do.
Yeah.
So it was quite made an interesting movie out of that,
I've seen that.
You've seen that,
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of it.
It's called Offside.
Offside.
Right, good. Yeah.
Why do you think the university is mostly women? What do you account for that?
Well, because they are, I guess, they are pretty ambitious. There is a lot of restriction against them. So they are reacting to that restriction. That's my interpretation, And also, I think there are a lot of men were killed in Iran-Iraq war, a war which was totally unnecessary. So I think probably their number also is.
But what do the men think of that woman that has been able to advance herself?
Well, a
Through education.
lot of advances was gained under the previous regime. In other words, the reform that the previous Shah of Iran instituted and stuff, resulted in a lot of opportunities for women and stuff. What Dr. Mohsenian is referring to, lawyers and stuff, women in Iran are different from women in the Middle East because they're more advanced in education. Even though now by the regime, by force, they've sort of put them in the veil and stuff, but their ambition is something that is unchecked. Men cannot rule Iranian women. I live with one of them.
So you know.
I also wanted to say that what's happening in Iran is a reflection of a global feminine movement. And this is a reflection of how interwoven we are as a human race. Same thing's happening in Saudi Arabia, they are driving, same thing's happening in Africa. And this, Iran is no exception. So this is just part of kind of a human movement towards improvement and better.
You know, in the United States, there's more women than men going to university.
Actually,
So
women in general, globally,
women
are
more
doing better than men.
ambitious, working harder.
That's a good thing.
But they have to work harder also to prove something,
Sure.
catch up, to let the
Because they're
men know that,
discriminated
hey,
against,
yeah,
yes.
right.
Yeah, until
It's like
1870.
immigrants, they try harder,
Yeah. Until 1870 in England, a woman didn't exist legally. A married woman, she didn't exist. She couldn't.
Victorian era.
Yeah, until 1870.
You don't have to go.
So it hasn't
that
been
far
very
in the
long.
United States.
Hasn't been
United
very long.
States. Anyway, I'm sorry, we've run out of time.
Sorry.
So we'll have our amnesty meeting. We do have a letter on Iranian human rights. You guys who came for this, you may stay. We're going to just go through the reports and then we're going to write some.